If you have already read the book Lords of the Deccan, or if you have read my book review blog, or even watched the book review vlog of Lords of the Deccan, then you must already be aware of Anirudh Kanisetti. If not, you will be pleased to know that he is an awardee of Sahitya Akademi Yuva Puraskar for his book Lords of the Deccan, with many more accolades pouring his way. 3 years later, he is back with an equally spellbinding book, Lords of Earth and Sea. Anirudh Kanisetti has done all he could to not keep Lords of Earth and Sea in the shadows of Lords of the Deccan. Although Lords of Earth and Sea acts as a stand-alone book, it does contain a few attributions to Lords of the Deccan. It is not necessary to have read the first book, but it is good to have read it because you get a bigger picture than just going linear, especially when the history is all over the place. It is important to note that the narration actually starts with a description of a queen to emphasize the vitality of roles women played in building the Chola Empire. I laughed so hard at their family tree was more of a family bush. The book briefly talks about the practice of marrying within the relatives, but this practice made me wonder about their gene pool. What do you have to say about it? Let me know in the comments. However, I feel Raja Raja the First's wife, Loka Mahadevi, also deserves a spot on the family tree in this book. I am Shweta on We Read That Too. If you don't want to miss recommendations of books that are worth your time and money, then subscribe to my channel right away. Similar to the influential women we see in Lords of the Deccan, the Chola women too were involved in temple building and then making donations to it. But a few Chola women never abandoned the culture of their birth families, be it Nangai's Irukuvel styled architecture or Sembiyan Mahadevi's revered Nataraja, the iconic form of Lord Shiva. Captured women's lives are well described in the book Lords of Earth and Sea. After reading the book, if you think it may be guesswork, then it is an informed guesswork. But let's face the truth, no medieval king in Indian subcontinent or elsewhere was a saint. Women were war booty. Women were and still are an easy target when someone wants to showcase their strength unless it is a weightlifting contest. On one hand, you have royal ladies, some reaching the status of goddess, and on the other hand, you have service retinues captured women whose cries fell on their gods' deaf ears. The gods do favor the wealthy, don't they? Not just the plight of the captured women is detailed here, the plight of warriors is also explained based on the caste system. In the first chapter itself, one full cycle of the early Cholas is seen completed, the rise and the fall. This made me curious about the forthcoming chapters. In the second chapter of Lords of Earth and Sea, it feels like the author has rushed the lives of Parantaka II, if not his eldest son Aditya II, the predecessor of the Chola precursor. In the same rush, the author says the king withered away and the queen, the mother, committed ritual suicide when their elder son was killed. Here, the problem is the author explains this whole generation only in relations and their names don't appear. To correlate, you need to flip back to the family tree given in the initial pages of the book before introduction. There, the first name under Parantaka II is Arulmozhivarman instead of Aditya II. This creates a major confusion. This can either make the reader turn to Google for clarification or hefty disinterest down the pages. Now that I have clarified this for you, please continue reading the book, especially if you have been living in the political mythology surrounding the Cholas. Similarly, Rajendra I is mentioned as Raja Raja I in the family tree. I hope these issues don't occur in the second edition. Nonetheless, the family tree of Cholas given in Lords of Earth and Sea will persuade you to open the family tree of Chalukyas given in Lords of the Deccan. In Lords of the Deccan, we have Queen Loka Mahadevi, who was in a league of her own. In Lords of Earth and Sea, we have many queens who surpass one another. No, don't be excited expecting catfights. These women were with grit and grace and the backbone of Chola governance. One couldn't take them lightly back then, and we have a lot to learn from them now. There is one more Loka Mahadevi in the Chola clan, and she is not to be confused with the Chalukya one. Along with the Chalukyas and the Rashtrakutas, even the merchant union, 500 lords of Ayawala, the modern day Aihole in Karnataka, they also keep up their appearance in the book. Like the review so far? Then don't forget to hit the like button. There are quite a few instances in the book that look into the situations where the Chola kings took the credit for all the subordinates' hard work, just like many managers in the modern day corporations. The description of what Rajendra Chola was doing when his armies attacked Rashtrakutas Manyaketa is spine chilling. There is a good explanation in the book on how we find such large number of Tamil speaking population in southern Karnataka, not just Bengaluru because it is a state capital, but also in the districts like Mysuru and Kolar. Read the book to know why. The sheer ingenuity of Anirudh Kanisetti is seen in page 124 of this extraordinary book. I want to tell you about it, but I want you to see and experience it on your own. It is always not about what you write and how you write. Sometimes it is also about how you look at things. That's how you become a good researcher and historian. That's what Anirudh Kanisetti is. Know someone who would like this video? Then share it with them. I laughed so hard at the title Rajendra II gave Veera Chola. Never thought that history could make me laugh like this. I am sure you will at least let out a guffaw. There is a brief about the boom of Kanchi saris, although mentioned indirectly. I wish there was more about this topic in this book. The so called third urbanization is detailed very well in the book. Feels so good reading it because the next urbanization that we saw probably brought concrete into our lives. At least that's what qualifies to be urban as per the politicians in the name of development. The history of Cholas shows two conspired deaths of royals. One is of Aditya II and the next is Raja Raja II. Books about these incidents will make good historical thrillers. If I go by how the books Lords of the Deccan and Lords of Earth and Sea concluded, then it is safe to assume the next book of Anirudh Kanisetti is on Hoysalas. If you wish to read this book review, then head over to the blog. Link is in the description. We Read That Too is also on Instagram.